Okay, Alana, you are live on the air. Go ahead with your question.
Okay, hi, Rabbi. I am calling from Michigan, and I just had a question. So my question is, how do you explain the accounts of the miracles and the miraculous things that he did, witnessed and purported by people in the area at that time?
Well, just stay on. Don't lose me. How do you explain the miracles that Joseph Smith did? There were witnesses where Joseph Smith received gold plates from the angel Moroni, and that only happened in the 19th century. Just stay with me because I want to just, how do you explain that? Why aren't you a Mormon? Is that a fair question?
Well, I mean, partially, but, if in fact, if there wasn't just one or two, I mean, we're talking about big things like a resurrection from the dead.
Satya Sai Baba, who did not die that long ago in India, resurrected the dead, healed the blind, performed miracles in front of thousands of people. He has 30 million followers right now who are alive, who will swear to this. Why don't you believe that? The Catholics believe that there were miracles done in Portugal where many, many people at the beginning of the 20th century saw the Virgin Mary. I think all these religions are claiming miracles. And the question is, why do you only accept the miracles done in the religion that you already believe in? And please don't be offended. And just completely are unmoved by the miracles claimed in another religion. I mean, in Islam, Muhammad was an illiterate prophet and wrote the Quran. I mean, if you're illiterate, how could he have done that? But apparently you're not persuaded by that to become a Muslim. So what's really happening is that people say, okay, this is the religion I believe in. I love Jesus, so I'm going to believe that. And I don't believe in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so I'm going to ignore all those claimed miracles. And as it turns out, all religions claim that their founders were able to perform miracles. So then how do you know what the truth is? Because after all, then how do we believe in anything? I mean, doesn't the Torah claim miracles as well? How do you pick and choose? So there's something really very valuable here, and that is that the Torah is the original text. The Torah is the text that the vast majority of the world believes in as a holy book. And it's not that the Jewish people or are the most popular group on the planet. We're not liked in many corners, in many regions of the world. We're not. Despite that, the vast majority of the world believe that the Torah, the prophets, the writing, the Hebrew scriptures is the word of God. However, other religions are adding accretions, Christianity, that the Messiah had to die and rise. So what we do is we have to compare not miracle claims. I mean, the Roman Catholic Church claims miracles for people who it canonizes as a saint. The Orthodox Church claims miracles that are done using its relics and icons. All these religions claim miracles. Rather, what we're doing is we're asking what is compatible with the Hebrew Bible, and if it is, then we accept it, and if it's in opposition to the Jewish scriptures, we reject it. In the ancient world, especially, there were a lot of things people didn't understand. In the ancient world, people repeated things over they heard from others, and the stories became more and more embellished. I mean, even look at the book of Mark as compared to the book of John. Look how different they are. I mean, Mark doesn't know anything about a virgin birth, right? Matthew, Luke apparently do. Why? Because the story grew. And then, the book of John, Jesus walking around, essentially inferring that he's God. Well, he didn't do that in the Synoptic Gospels. So you see the story just growing, and as people repeat the story, I don't know, as a kid, when I'd go to birthday parties, when I was a little kid, there was this game we would play that I thought was hysterical. And I think it was called Telephone, where we'd sit in a circle, maybe 10 kids would sit in a circle, And I would repeat over something to one person, and he'd repeat it, whisper in the ear. And it was very funny how, when it came to the other end, how different it was than what I had said. So in the ancient world, just people thought miracles were happening all the time, partially because people didn't understand. They didn't know what an earthquake was. They didn't know what a tectonic plate was, or that it could shift because of an earthquake that occurs under the oceans. They didn't know any of this. To them, lightning was the gods who were angry. They just didn't know. So in the ancient world, there was so many things that were inexplicable that they saw demons and ghosts and people who were mentally ill. They just thought, were possessed by a demon, like Mary Magdalene in the book of Luke. So I would just say that it's not an accident that the Virgin Mary appears a lot to women over pancakes for breakfast every Sunday morning in Brazil and the Philippines. Why? Because those are Roman Catholic countries, right? Brazil is the largest Catholic country in the world. Now, why doesn't the Virgin Mary come to Saudi Arabia or Kuwait? Like, there's apparently, she can't get a visa to get into Kuwait. Like, why does the Virgin Mary only appear to people who are already predisposed to believing in her? Well, we know the answer. The answer is they want to believe it. And I'll never forget this. When I was in Indonesia, it's all hit me like a bomb. It was 2016. I think it was March 2016. The biggest pastor in Indonesia. So Indonesia is home to like 35 million Christians, something like that. And this is a guy who filled stadiums. He was known as Peter the Great, but that wasn't his real name. He was a big guy. And he was in his late 40s, and he suddenly dropped dead. But he was a prosperity preacher, the whole deal. He was big. And he had promised his followers that he would take them to Jerusalem. And he died in his late 40s. I don't know what it was. But the point was, within a few days, of course, everyone was perplexed because he said he's going to lead everybody to Israel, to Jerusalem. And suddenly, these women, now, please, don't be angry at me, but it was all women who suddenly were claiming that this Peter the Great appeared to them in a vision. Well, there you go. That's the deal. And people who want to believe the story becomes more and more embellished. What people do is they, I think, love Jesus, and therefore they like the stories about Jesus, and therefore believe in it. I would posit to you that, in fact, to search Tanakh, to use the Hebrew Bible as your only guide. Why? Because Christians believe in the Hebrew Bible. I'm not suggesting, say, read the Talmud. I'm just saying Christians who clearly, the people I've encountered for the most part, are genuine, sincere people. You believe that the Hebrew Bible is the Word of God, read it, and then ask yourself, does anything in the Jewish scriptures comport with what you find in the New Testament? The answer is no. Nothing doesn't resemble it. In fact, the Messiah is not a miracle worker in Tanakh. You can look at Tanakh, you'll never see the Messiah running around doing miracles. He's a teacher, he's a judge. See Isaiah 2. I mean, all you have to do is read the first 5 verses of Isaiah 2. All Christians agree that's about the Messiah. Read the first 6 verses of Isaiah 11. You can read the whole Isaiah 11. It's an easy chapter to read. There's nothing in there about the Messiah doing miracles. Nothing. But these ideas that these messiahs can run around and do miracles, so that was very much an idea that's at home, not only in Israel or in the Levant, but well beyond. In Egypt, all the gods, Osiris, all these guys were all doing these insane miracles, and so were emperors of Rome purported to do them. So thank you very much for your thoughtful question. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל